If you ride a motorcycle, you probably assume the biggest danger is a reckless driver or bad weather. But the number one cause of motorcycle fatalities isn't what most riders think. And it happens fast, usually at an intersection, usually when the rider had the right of way. I'm Richard Jaffe. I'm a personal injury attorney here in New York, and I've represented families in cases where a rider did everything right and still didn't make it home. In this video, I'm going to break down the number one cause of motorcycle deaths, why it keeps happening on New York roads, and what you can actually do to protect yourself before you ever get into that situation. Because on a bike, you don't have the margin of error that a driver does. And if you don't understand where the real danger is coming from, you're trusting your life to someone else's split-second decision. The number one cause of motorcycle fatalities. It's the driver who turns left in front of the oncoming motorcycle. Not the weather, not bad luck, not even the bike. That left turn, usually at an intersection or into a driveway, is one of the deadliest setups for riders because it gives you almost no time and almost no space. The car cuts across your path, and now you're either slamming into the side of that vehicle or getting launched into the road. And here's what makes it worse. If you survive, that same driver often says the same thing every time. I didn't see them, or they came out of nowhere, or they were speeding. In New York, that can turn into a fight over fault, and fault affects both your safety and your financial recovery. So let's talk about how this crash happens in real life and how to protect yourself on the road and protect yourself after the crash too. Why left turn crashes happen so often. Most left turn motorcycle fatalities happen in a very predictable moment. You're going straight, you have the right of way, a car is coming towards you and decides to turn left across your lane into the side street, a parking lot, a gas station, a driveway, and that driver usually is scanning for big shapes, other cars. They glance, they think it's clear, and they go. Motorcycles are smaller, and humans are terrible at judging the speed of smaller objects. So even if they do see you, they may think you're farther away than you are. And in New York, especially in places like Queens, Brooklyn, the Bronx, Nassau, and Westchester, you get a lot of aggressive lefts. People rush the turn to beat traffic. They roll through the gap. They assume you'll slow down. And on a bike, that assumption can kill you. Legally, this matters too. New York's vehicle and traffic law says a driver turning left must yield to oncoming traffic that's close enough to be in immediate danger. In plain English, if you're coming straight and they cut in front of you, they're usually the one who caused it. But usually isn't always, and insurance companies love to argue. How to protect yourself before the crash. I'm going to give you practical street-level ways to reduce your risk in the exact left turn situation. None of this is about being perfect. It's about stacking the odds in your favor. Number one, treat every intersection like a trap. If I could tattoo one rule on every rider's brain, it's this: intersections are where riders die. So when you approach any intersection, green light or not, assume at least one driver is about to do something really dumb. Turn left, pull out from a side street, or jump a yellow light. Slow down just enough so that you can brake hard without locking up or getting thrown. Cover the brakes. Give yourself a reaction space. You're not riding scared, you're riding smart. Number two, watch the front wheels, not the driver's face. A driver's face will actually lie to you. The wheels won't. You can look right at somebody and still not know if they're about to move. But if their front wheels start to angle left or roll even a few inches, that's your warning. A lot of riders focus on eye contact like it's a safety shield. It isn't. Watch the wheels. Number three, own your lane position. Make yourself hard to ignore. When you're approaching a vehicle that might turn left, don't ride in the spot where you blend into background traffic. If you're directly behind another car from the driver's point of view, you can get hidden. So adjust your lane position to be seen earlier. If the threat is a left turner in the opposite lane, sometimes a slightly more left side position in your lane makes you more visible. If there are parked cars, driveways, or side streets on your right, don't hug the curb where a car could pop out and tag you. This isn't about weaving. It's about being visible and giving yourself an exit path. Number four, use your light like a tool. In the daytime, a motorcycle can disappear in the glare and clutter. If your bike has a headlight modulator that's legal and properly set up, it could help. Even just keeping your headlight on and clean helps. Some riders use high beams in daylight for visibility. Use your judgment and just don't blind people at night. When you see that left turn setup forming, a quick tap of the horn isn't rude. It's a survival tool. Number five, don't win the right of way, survive it. This is the hardest mental shift for a lot of riders. You could be 100% right and still be dead. So if a car is creeping like it wants to turn left, don't speed up to prove a point. Don't assume that they're going to wait. Roll off the throttle, create space, and be ready to brake. I've talked to too many families where the rider had the right of way. That fact doesn't bring anyone back. Number 6, don't give them the one argument they always use: speed. In left turn cases, the defense playbook is almost always the motorcycle is speeding. Sometimes that's true. A lot of times it's not. But if you were going way over the limit, you're handing them a weapon. New York follows a shared fault rule. That means if a jury decides the turning driver was mostly at fault, but says you were like 20% at fault for speed, your compensation can get reduced by 20%. So yes, ride your ride, but understand that a little fast turns into reckless biker the second insurance company lawyers get involved. How to protect yourself with New York law on your side. Let's say you do everything right and it still happens. Here's how to protect yourself in a way that matters in New York, because motorcycles are treated differently here than cars. Number 1, call 911 and make sure a police report gets made. You want the crash documented as close to the real time as possible. A left turn driver may start off apologizing. Then, after they talk to the insurance company, the story changes. The biker came out of nowhere. A police report isn't perfect, but it's a starting point, and it forces the other driver to commit to a story early. Number 2, if you can, get the witnesses before they disappear. Left turn crashes often happen in busy places. That's good and it's bad. The good is that there are usually witnesses. The bad, the witnesses leave fast. So if you're physically able or someone with you can actually help, get the names and phone numbers. A neutral witness can actually be the difference between a clean claim and a drawn out mess. Number 3, take photos that show the left turn, not just the damage. Most people photograph the bike, the car, the scraped fairing, the broken helmet. I understand. But the most important photos are the ones that prove how it happened. The position of the vehicles, the lanes, the intersection layout, skid marks, traffic lights and signs, and the point of impact. A classic left turn strike is damage to the side front corner of the turning vehicle and the front of the bike. That pattern matters. Number 4, know this New York rule. Motorcycles don't get no-fault benefits. This surprises riders all the time. In New York, drivers and passengers in cars usually have no-fault coverage that pays medical bills right away, usually up to about $50,000, regardless of who caused the crash. Motorcyclists are different. In most situations, a rider does not get those no-fault medical payments. So if you're hurt, the money side can get serious, fast. Ambulance bills, ER bills, surgery bills, physical therapy, time out of work. That's why you have to treat the legal side like a priority, not an afterthought. Number 5, check your insurance now, not after the crash. If you ride in New York, you should know what protections you actually have. There's 2 big ones that I really want you to make sure that you have enough of. The first one is uninsured motorist coverage if a driver hits you and has no insurance. The second one is called underinsured coverage, and that's when a driver has insurance, but it's not enough to cover a serious injury. A lot of motorcycle crashes involve drivers with minimum coverage. Minimum coverage disappears fast in a hospital. You don't want to learn your limits when you're lying in bed wondering now how you're going to pay for that rehab. A real world scenario I see all the time. Here's a typical case I hear. A rider's headed straight on a main road. Driver, opposite direction, turns left into a shopping center. Impact happens so fast the rider barely has time to touch the brakes. The rider goes down hard, broken leg, shoulder injury, maybe a head injury, even with a helmet. Then the insurance company says, our driver says the motorcycle was speeding. Our driver says the motorcycle changed lanes. Our driver says they didn't have time to react. And now we're not just proving injuries, we're proving the crash. That's why everything we talked about matters. Lane position, speed, witnesses, photos, and fast medical documentation. It's not about being dramatic. It's about building a case that matches what really happened. What you should take away from this video. The number 1 cause of motorcycle fatalities is that left turn in front of you. It's fast, it's violent, and it's incredibly common. To protect yourself, you want to treat intersections like danger zones. Watch wheels, not faces. Ride in a lane position that gets you seen. Use your headlight and your horn as tools. Control speed so you don't hand them an excuse. And if a crash happens, lock down that proof early. Police report, witnesses, photos, and medical care. If you were hit by a left turn driver in New York and you're not sure what to do next, talk to a lawyer early. Not because you're looking for a fight, but because motorcycles don't get treated like cars in this state, and delays can cost you. Now, your next must-watch video is called 5 Things You Must Not Do After a Motorcycle Accident. If you ride, this one protects you from the biggest mistakes I see. Mistakes that can wreck your injury claim, mess up your medical care, or give the insurance company exactly what they needed to pay you less. Go watch that now while it's fresh, because after a real crash, you won't be thinking clearly and you don't get a do-over. See you over there.